We're having Mr. David Mojaji, AI automation in personal finance, leveraging technology for smarter wealth management. Please, can we have Mr. Mojaji David? Thank you.
Thank you for having me. It's been such a great event so far. I'll be talking to you guys about AI, specifically AI automation. I wouldn't talk much about personal finance because I think all the speakers before me spoke about finance and money, so I think you've learned a lot. But before we start, I would like to know, by the show of hands, how many of you here are students? If you're a student, can you raise your hand? Can you wave? How many of you here are students? If you're students, can you wave your hand? No students. Oh, perfect, perfect. All right. The reason why I asked if you're a student is for one reason. A lot of people right now are studying things that they wouldn't have use for by the time they graduate, due to AI, artificial intelligence. Please, have you heard about, who has heard about AI here? Please, if you heard about AI, can I see your hand? You've heard about AI. Awesome, awesome, awesome. That means everyone here is aware. Now, why did I say you would have no job or something to do by the time you're done? It's for a few reasons. So when people hear about AI, they are always thinking about, they always see it as artificial intelligence, right? So they see it as something that has less intelligence compared to humans, because I mean, we humans were egotistical to start with. But one thing I want you to do is to not see AI as artificial intelligence. See it as raw intelligence that has untapped potential. So imagine it to be like you having someone like Albert Einstein, for example, right? I mean, he's a genius. So you have someone like Albert Einstein, for example, and the person is very intelligent and good when it comes to a lot of stuff, a lot of spectrum of stuffs. So we're talking about things like finance, we're talking about the creatives, we're talking about football, like whatever you can think about. Imagine this person is very, very intelligent and very, very good in this stuff. Now, my guess is you'd want to use this person or put this person to work for the person to do different things for you, right? That over time, or let's say something that you would have done by yourself, right? That is what AI is. AI is a general purpose technology. It's like electricity. You can use it for literally anything. Now, I don't think a lot of you here have heard about AI agents. So I think I'm just going to talk about AI agents a little bit so that you understand where the world is at right now. And but before I talk about AI agents, I think I'll talk about some other things that will let you to understand that the world have changed from what it used to be. First and foremost, I would like to let you know that the world best chess player actually got won by an AI in a chess competition. And this was like 9 years ago. There is a game that the Chinese play that is called Mahjong. The English word is Go. It's a strategy game just like chess, but it has way more strategies than chess. I think about 5 years ago or 6 years ago, the same person, that's the world champion, got won again by an AI. That's two. Now, AI has become something that is affecting everything. For me, I'm a software engineer by training. I'm a computer scientist. And one thing I'm seeing is that a lot of companies now are using AI more for the work that people like myself would do, because AI can code. If you're doing something like virtual assistants, I'd recommend look for another job. AI has taken that over already. If you're doing something like customer care, AI has taken that over that already. And it's not just this. AI is moving from just software, something you have on your phone, on your laptop, to the physical world. They call them humanoid robots or physical AI. I don't know if anyone here watched the New Moon Festival. That's the Chinese festival that's like their Christmas or something. I don't know if anyone here watched it. If you watched it, you would have seen humanoid robots that were doing some kind of demonstrations with sword, like real sword, with children. And there was zero casualty. Not just China, the US, Russia, a lot of countries are already using these things. So I know that a lot of people here in Nigeria, one of the goal a lot of people have here in Nigeria, especially for digital workers, is you want to get a digital skill and then get a remote job in the US or the UK, so you're earning in dollars and be a baller in Nigeria. That gap is closing. That gap is closing like very, very quick because of how capable AI systems are. I think one of the speakers said Elon Musk is our case study. So I'm going to quote one thing Elon Musk said about AI. Elon Musk said that AI needs to be regulated more than nuclear weapons. That it is way more dangerous than nuclear weapons. And this is why. I'll tell you why he said that. Now, a nuclear weapon does one thing, right? You deploy it to a particular place, it destroys the place, people die and all of that stuff. One purpose. Except it's not a nuclear weapon. Maybe you're using like nuclear fission to generate like electricity or something. But AI is not something that has a single purpose. Intelligence is something that is encompassing. It has multiple purposes. You need intelligence to interact with people. You need intelligence to write a book. You need intelligence to cross the road. You need intelligence to cook. Like literally every single thing you can think of, you need intelligence to do it. Now we are building a system that is intelligent, way more intelligent than anyone in this room. I know you don't want to believe it, but the current AI systems that we have now is way more intelligent than anyone in this room. If you're an expert in a field, yes, AI could be less intelligent when it comes to that particular niche. But general purpose intelligence, there is no one alive or dead that is more intelligent than current AI systems. And the breaking news about this is that AI is actually just getting started. We're still using LLMs. They call them large language models, like your ChatGPT, your Claude, your Gemini, and the rest of them. Now, those are just LLMs. And they are still a little bit like context AI systems. Now, we still have AGI. There's a part of AI that they call AGI. There's part they call ASI. Now, AGI is going to be when AI gets to the level of Thank you. So AGI is when AI gets so intelligent that it no longer needs humans to create itself. If you've been following companies like Anthropic that created Claude, you would hear them say things like their engineers don't even write code anymore. Like, I think, was it last year? Yeah, last year. Google came out and said that 50% of the code they wrote in 2025 was AI generated. And as a programmer or as a software engineer by training, I'm here to tell you one thing. People think software engineering or programming is all about writing code. Nope, that's not what it does. Programming and software engineering is about thinking, right? It teaches you how to think multidimensionally because most people think in a linear format, right? So something like if you ask them, why is that door open? They'll just be like, somebody opened it. No other response beyond that. They can't think beyond that. But for you to be a software engineering, you have to think in a multi-dimensional approach because when it comes to solving a problem, there are different ways you can solve it, right? And there are ways that are better than others, right? So that's where we are at with AI. And we're also going to get to the point of, so we're still going to get to the point where we have something called ASI. ASI is artificial super intelligence. I hope this is not going to be blasphemous, but I'm just going to say something. What I think ASI to be, I think ASI is we creating a digital god, basically. That's what we're doing. Because if you look at the Bible, I'm not a pastor, by the way, but a lot of the speakers here are pastors, so let me reference that. If you look at the Bible, I think it's in Genesis when they were creating man. I think God said, let us create man in our own what? Image and likeness. That's the same thing we're doing with AI, but we don't know. One, you need to understand that one thing AI is built on is data, information. And so are you. Everything about you is information that you've collected right from when you were little. In fact, if I go back and interview every single person you've interacted from childhood till now, I can even tell you more about yourself than you know about yourself. Because for every interaction you have with everybody or every single person, there's something you pick out of it. That's why you can see someone, you have a friend and you're like, oh, I don't like the way my friend laughs. Give yourself 2 months. You're laughing like your friend, right? That happens. So that's the same thing we're doing with AI. And now we're taking all of our interactions, all of our innovations, every single interaction we've ever had, and we're giving it to a system for it to learn and understand us. Meanwhile, we have very little understanding of this system. Which is why, personally, I feel like AI comes with a lot of advantages, but I feel like the disadvantages are quite much. And it's worse when you don't have knowledge about the system. Because whether you like it or not, AI is not going anywhere. And I'll tell you why AI is not going anywhere. One reason. They've spent trillions of dollars on AI since the 1950s. AI didn't just come out now. They spent trillions of dollars on it. So it's not going to change anytime. Like, it's something that would affect you regardless of what you're doing. It's just a matter of time. And I'll tell you another thing that is since we're talking about finance, I'll tell you about something else that is very surprising about the opportunities in AI on how you can make money. How many people here know that we have an AI that is currently a multi-millionaire? Does anyone here know that we have an AI that is a multi-millionaire? Not in Naira, dollars, by the way. Okay. So last year, there was an AI that was created by some guy. The guy didn't make himself public. But the name of the AI is Truth Terminal, right? So he gave the AI access to Twitter. So the AI came on Twitter and was sharing his ideas, right? Sharing his ideas, talking about what he plans to create. I call it he or it. What it plans to create and all of that. And, every single day, the AI was consistent. Every single day, the AI is creating a thread on Twitter talking about different things. Until one day, I think it was a billionaire. Yeah, he's a billionaire. I can't remember his name. But he saw one of those threads and then he started chatting with the AI. He was like, I like your idea. If I give you money, what will you use it for? And then the AI explained everything that he was going to do with the money. And then the billionaire gave the AI $100,000. It sent it to the AI through crypto, right? So the AI provided a crypto wallet. I think it was on Solana coin, that's Solana blockchain. It provided the billionaire with a wallet. The billionaire sent 100,000 naira. About 2 weeks later, the AI created its own coin. I think the name of the coin is Gotsi or something. I don't know if anyone here heard about it. And the AI, as it created its own coin, it started promoting the coin heavily on Twitter. And crypto people, one thing crypto people are all about is hype. If you come today and say you have a goat that can write code and create a coin about that, people will buy. So the AI created its own coin, and within 48 hours, that coin was worth millions of dollars. And the quantity of that coin that the AI had went as high as $2.8 million. This is to tell you how crazy the opportunities are. In fact, this even sounds complex. Let me take you back to the early days of the internet, right? Which most of us here were not born then. So during the early days of the internet, which is something that happens mostly when there's a new technology, you would see people creating things that are very, very basic, like anybody can do it, and they're making money out of it. That's one thing that happens when there's a new technology. So during the early days of the internet, there was this young lad who got an admission into a foreign school. He didn't have his tuition fee. He didn't have his money for his school fees. And then the guy thought, okay, what can I do? Remember, this is the early days of the internet. There was no Facebook, there was no WhatsApp, no such thing as mobile app or any of the things we have now. So the guy was thinking how he could raise money for his school fees. What he did was this. He created a website. The website was just a single page, so just one page. And then he said that he's going to rent the space on his website to companies for them to market. So the way he planned it was that you provide your logo of your company, like a very tiny logo, and you pay him $1 for him to put it on his website. So when people come to his website, they would see your logo. And this guy started reaching out to businesses, individuals. Guess what? In not very long, this guy got about 1 million people to pay for a page or a space on his website. And that was how he made his first $1 million. Why am I telling you a lot of these stories? It's for one reason, and that's because of the fact that what we're doing here is finance. So I think I should share what I know about finance. I've come across a lot of young people that they believe they are driven. I would say they believe they are driven because the idea of making money is not just by saying it. It's going to take a lot of sacrifice. In fact, I think you can look at it as breaking the bones in your body. Like you would you would face things that you never imagined you're going to face on your way to growing money, right? But if you give yourself an excuse or a reason to quit, you always find one. And why I talked about the AI making money is because of the fact that I'm trying to let you know that if an AI, a non-human entity, can come up with an idea and make money from it, what's your excuse? And if you say the AI, just like the event I had with Busha Exchange, I think that was last week, one of the attendees asked me that, the AI was giving $100,000. And I was like, yeah, that's true. But the AI did not just sit on its hand and the billionaire came and gave him $100,000. The AI was actively on Twitter writing about his dreams and goals every single day until the billionaire saw him and gave him money. But a lot of us here, that's not our case. You post 1, 2, 3 times. Let's say you want to become a content developer. You post today, post your next week. You get just 1 like. You be like, oh, people don't like my stuff, and you quit. Trust me, you're not going to get far by that, right? So I think this is as much as I would say about personal finance. Or, yeah, one more thing I'm going to say about personal finance, and it's in reference to what one of the speakers said, that he spoke about having a phone of, I think he said iPhone 17, 2.4 million naira. So what I'm going to say about that is you need to understand one thing when it comes to personal finance. And the 2 important things you need to understand is assets and liability. And I think the person that explained it best or defined these terms best is Robert Kiyosaki. Robert Kiyosaki said, an asset is something that puts money in your pockets. And then a liability is something that removes money from your pockets. So going back to what the first speaker said, if you buy an iPhone 17 and you're someone who's into videography because of how good the quality is, now that phone have moved from being a liability to being an asset because you're generating what? Income from it. But if you buy that phone so that your friends will see you and be like, oh, girl, you're chilling, it's a liability. Because there will be times that phone is going to be faulty. And you're not going to fix the phone from the revenue that the phone is generating, but from your pockets. So it is a liability. Another example is people that own homes. A lot of people think if you own your personal home, you're living in your personal home, it's an asset. No, it's a liability. Because if you're living in your own personal house, if the window is broken, you have to fix it. The money has to come from somewhere. If the door is bad, you have to fix it. But if you have a house, let's say you have a block of flats, let's say a block of 2-bedroom flats, you're living in one and someone else is living in another one. Yeah, it's a bit of an asset. Or let's say you're using your house for Airbnb. People rent your house. Now your house, your home is in between both of them, right? So that's another thing to bear in mind. Then I think the last thing I'll talk about personal finance before I go to AI automation is debt, loans. So from where I come from and what I've witnessed, a lot of people think debt or collecting loans is a bad thing. But that's not true. There are actually 2 types of loans, 2 types of debt. There's good debt and there's bad debt. So a bad debt is a debt that you collect or a loan that you collect and then you use the money to purchase something that is a liability, right? I think that was a day I had over radio station. One guy was complaining. I don't know the station, the guy was just complaining. His story was that his girlfriend that he collected a loan of, I think, 2 million naira to buy her an engagement ring. And the engagement ring is gold. So when the girl saw the ring and she knew it was gold, she accepted and was like, yeah, I'll marry you. Collected the gold, went home and texted him and told him that, I don't think I can marry you. Right? And now the guy was crying that he needs his money back. Now, that is an example of a bad debt, because why are you collecting a loan to buy an engagement ring? Your engagement ring is going to get you your partner. And last I checked, your partner is not exactly an asset. Like, if anything, your partner is going to cost you one way or the other, right? So that's an example. So if you're collecting a loan to go into something like a business, yes, it's a good one. But one thing I would always recommend is before you collect a loan to run a business, make sure you have every single thing figured out. Make sure you have it figured out. Trust me, because I think it's going to be very painful if you don't have everything figured out, whereby even the effort you put into the business and everything, right, you don't even eat from it. The whole business is taken over by the person you collected the loan from or any other thing like that. So, yeah, that's as much as I'll say about personal finance. So the next thing I'll talk about is AI automation, right? I think I've already taken a lot of my time already. And a lot of people have had the word AI automation, but they have an abstract idea of what it is. They don't have a concrete idea of what AI automation is. So I'm going to try to break it down as much as I can. So AI automation basically is just you having an AI system that is helping you to do work or whatever it is. So if you have an AI system that you can get for it to help you cook your food, right, when you want to eat, that is you automating a system with AI, right? And from where I stand, I'm an AI engineer and an AI expert, and I've spoken on several stages in Nigeria here on AI. And one thing I can tell you is that the biggest impact of AI is in automation. And I'll tell you why I said that. I'll ask one question and I'll guess what your answer will be, right? Which I'll use to drive my point why I said AI automation is going to have the biggest impact on the world. If you had a clone of yourself, a version of yourself that is as capable as you, that is as intelligent as you, it can do everything you can do. You can think of the great ideas and even the dumb ones, all of them. You can do all of them. Would you go to work on Monday? Or you ask the AI to do it? Or rather, your clone to do it? My guess is the clone will do it, right? Most of us here would only go to work maybe when we feel like, oh, we're used to this. Let's just go and interact, right? So you would most likely give your clone to do it. And what does your clone have that you have? Intelligence. That's the one thing you share in common, intelligence. And as I said, AI is also what? Raw intelligence, right? So for you to be able to get the most value from AI, it's not in video generation, it's not in image generation. My grandmother can do that, to be honest. If I send her a video from YouTube, my grandmother can make video, YouTube AI-generated video. But the major thing that will give you the most value is in automation. And I can tell you that there is a lot of money to be made in this space, especially if you're learning AI automation. I think I have someone here who is taking one of our courses on AI automation. I shared with them one day because I was trying to tell them about the opportunities in AI automation. And then I shared with him, I shared in the community one day of job postings. There was a job that they were looking for someone who can create AI automated systems. And they were willing to pay this person $1,500 every single month. And one thing you should know, again, is that you are still very, very, very early when it comes to AI and automation. So if you missed Bitcoin, the Bitcoiners, if you missed Bitcoin, you didn't make money from Bitcoin, trust me, the opportunity in AI is way bigger. And I would still tell you why. The reason why it's way bigger is all the time I've been in the tech space, I've been a programmer since 2011. All the time I've been in the tech space, the only technology that I have seen that people were raising billions of dollars without a product or a customer is AI. Not one person, not two persons, not three. Many people are raising billions of dollars to build AI systems, and investors are giving them this money, and they don't even have a product. They don't even have a single user, zero revenue. Right? So this is to tell you how much opportunity there is in the industry. But if you want to wait the way you waited with Bitcoin, you just eat the crumbs, just like every other person. And the last thing I would say, everyone has been talking about generational wealth. I think the one I'll tell you is not generational wealth. I'll tell you that there's an opposite to that. There's generational poverty. And I think that's one thing that AI can ensure. And why I said that is, with the advent of AI, a lot more people are losing their jobs every single day. Every single day. Amazon is firing people. Google is firing people. A lot of companies are firing people. And if you think, oh, I'm not a tech person, so Google doesn't concern me, I'll tell you, it concerns you. Google is investing in a lot of other smaller companies. And trust me, because of how big these companies are, whatever they do becomes the industry standard. And mind you, we have not gotten to what? AGI. We have not gotten to what? ASI yet. Which is why I believe that for you to be safer, you need to learn and understand this technology. It's not just learning, like you need to be active. This is the first technology that if you don't understand it, you're just going to lose. To be honest, I can't water down my words. You're just going to lose. That is just the truth. And this is something that is already being used. The capturing of Maduro, the president of Venezuela, I don't know if you followed that news. They used AI in that. They actually did use AI. Even the war in Iran, between Iran and US, they are using AI systems there. Recently, due to the World Cup, Anthropic released one of their latest model that they call Claude Fable, that's from their Mythos generation. Don't bother about that. But the point is, the US government told them that they should restrict access to every single institution and individual that is not a US citizen. This is to tell you how important this technology is. Ask yourself, what other technologies have restrictions? All of them are powerful technologies. Nuclear weapons, hydrogen-based weapons like hydrogen bomb, biotechnology, that's the modification of humans and all of that. Major technologies are the things that are being restricted. And the funny thing is that AI is even way more worse than all of these things. Why? It's general purpose. Because I said what? AI is what? Intelligence. That is what it is. Intelligence, pure intelligence. So, yeah, they already signaled me that my time is up. So I think I'm just going to leave you with one word. Learn AI. Just learn AI. No matter what you're doing, if you're a pastor, you're a nurse, doctor, mechanic, plumber, anything, learn AI. Because I think this is one thing that can drastically change your life. It can drastically have that effect on your life. Like, it can have that effect on your life. Before, as a programmer, I used to feel very special. When I walk into a room, they ask, what do you? I'm like, oh, I'm a programmer. I feel special. But now I can't even feel special. Because with vibe coding, platforms like Lovable, you can literally speak English to an AI and you create your own mobile app, create your own website. So the question is, why do you need me? Very soon, drivers are already losing their jobs in the US because of self-driving cars. Very soon, it's to come down to Nigeria. And I think the reason why a lot of us here in Africa is a little bit complacent about these things and relaxed is because we feel AI wouldn't come here. It would, in different ways and forms. The number one is what? Remote jobs. If US citizens are complaining, why should they care about you in Africa, let alone Nigeria, that your government don't even respect you? I'm sorry. But yeah, that's the truth. Right? So you need to learn this technology. And a lot of people that came here, a lot of the other speakers were speaking about knowledge. Yeah, I know there's a lot of things that people say about knowledge being power, but I don't think knowledge is power. I think applied knowledge is power. If you have knowledge and you don't apply it, you're as good as a fool, because of what good is that knowledge to you if you're not utilizing it in your day-to-day activity. So I would advise you to take every single thing that every speaker before me have talked about. And if there is anything you take away from what I've said, pick out one thing: learn AI. Thank you so much.